the star of today's show is, of course, the newest Denver Nugget, Cameron Johnson. How you doing, brother?
Very well. Very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, taking time. I know it's a busy schedule out here, so we appreciate it.
Of course, man. Of course.
You did a show. You did a show with our friends over at PHNX back when you were at the Suns, and we hated you then.
It made us so jealous too.
It made us jealous,
They're
but
good guys over there, man. Come on.
They are good guys, but we had to hate them as well for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was instrumental in creating that network, and I hated them too. I have professionally no reason to hate them, but
part of it was Cam's fault. The Suns were too good. The Suns were too good.
Suns and Ford.
That was a time. That was a time.
Can we not smile about that?
I know. We might actually ask you about that here in a little bit, but I want to just kind of get into it. Obviously, it was the big trade for the summer. It kind of set everything off, and from our perspective, obviously, it was a really big one. Did you know? Or when did you kind of know that? I think there was a lot of buzz about you getting traded in the summer. That was a real possibility, at least the rumors I was reading going into it. But I didn't know Denver. Like, did you know that was a possibility? Is that a team you kind of had thought, wonder what that'd be like?
So trades were on my radar starting off-season of the prior. The prior one. Okay. So when Mikal got traded to New York, I was talking to people. I knew my name was floated around in this trade, that trade. I thought there was a situation where I got traded on draft night. That would have been a year and a half ago now,
Oh, you were under the impression you were being traded briefly?
Yeah, I thought there was a deal that could have gone down that would have sent me elsewhere. So then going into last season, I just understood that there's a likelihood that I get traded, and with every passing day that I didn't get traded, technically the likelihood only went up. That I'll get traded the next.
All right.
So I knew that, and I had heard so many teams, guys, like a ridiculous amount of teams that I had caught wind. I have friends in the business outside of my agents and stuff that were kind of, just intel gatherers. And it's not like it's not something to obsess over. It's not something to get overly caught up with. I was where my feet were, but it was kind of almost like reality television. Like, where am I going to end up going? Who knows?
You say that you are where your feet were, but it's got to be so hard not to think, where am I going?
I think it's not too hard to compartmentalize.
Okay.
Just take care of where you're at. I had a group in Brooklyn with a specific goal of creating culture, setting the stage, principles, whatnot, competing to our highest level, and that's what I was worried about. Maybe it's different if you're in the playoff picture, right? Because then it's different. But in that situation, it wasn't very hard. I had heard Denver maybe around the trade deadline was a possibility, but I was like, really? Like, of all the situations, I just didn't know how that one would get accomplished. Tons more at the deadline. I mean, it's every day. It's like my phone rings. Is this the one? Every time my agent called me for the last year and a half, I was like,
I'm getting
is this
traded.
the trade?
That's crazy.
This summer, same situation. I was like, I've been here before. I figured I would. Brooklyn went really young, and it's just how the business works, right? So I had heard this team, that team, this team, that team. Around the draft, I heard a list of maybe 4. I'm not going to say who the other 3 were, but Denver was included. I was like, oh, this is the first time I heard Denver since that little blip at the trade deadline. And again, at the trade deadline, I didn't know what the bones of the deal would be. I had no inkling of that. So I didn't really know what the bones of this trade would be when it happened. I was at a workout maybe 3 days after I had heard 4 teams that made a serious enough push to get back to me from agent side, from team side, whatever. And just finished a workout in my bedroom, about to get in the shower. Phone starts ringing, and it was my agent. And I knew, and just based off of the first breath he took on the phone, I was like, this is it. Where am I going? So he's like, trade to Denver, pretty like it. That's it. Like, it wasn't like, what do you think about this? Or it was like, by the time it got back to me, it was pretty much done. He's like, basically, that's what he said. It's pretty much done.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hold on. Then he got a phone call, hung up for 30 seconds, called me back. He's like, it's officially done.
So when you hear it's Denver, do you have time to think about going to Denver, or is it, man, I got to move? Like, what's your first reaction?
Well, just knowing that I was probably going to be traded, I knew I was going to have to move. So it's more about, okay, Denver. Okay, back in the Western Conference. I'm not familiar with the city. I know we got Jokic, Jamal, AG, CB, and the rest of the lot. And then quickly you hear that, we're going after JV, Bruce, Tim. So it's like, this team's already won. This team took OKC to 7. They have not taken steps backwards.
Right.
Obviously, I was aware of the coaching change and the front office changes. So, it's just question marks. But I know that the situation was a great situation to go to. And I think, I think part of that is honestly too, I think maybe potentially Brooklyn sent me to a place that I could have potential success in, not just there's a lot of trade frameworks that can come up. But I think it was a situation that for me, not much more I could want.
Well, I think one of the things that's a credit to you, because you said a lot of teams were interested in you over the time, because I think a lot of teams feel like they're one Cam Johnson away. Not every player is that mold. It's does he fit here, does he fit there? My opinion is that you fit a lot of places because you do the skill set that is the most versatile, shoot the ball and, can be versatile. But I think that Denver might actually be even more perfect than that for you because of Nikola Jokic and how the style plays. I mean, what do you think about that part? The ball is popping. Everybody has to have a versatile skill set, but shooting in particular, space around him.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, he just draws so much attention. And as a team, as a opponent of his for years now, you just know, how tough that scouting report is. What are you going to do to stop him? We've created junk, and we've tried to play straight up. But both take a lot of thought in doing what you're doing. So even just in, playing these past couple days and stuff, you just see – I'm starting to see how he processes the game. He fired a pass to me in the corner today. It kind of caught me off guard a little bit. But it's this is what you have to get used to.
Yeah, totally.
I think CB is a great example of, I'm watching him operate in practice, and he just knows where he's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. He just knows where he's supposed to be. And it's almost unconventional for a – how tall is he? 6'5", 6'4", 6'5"?
Adam, how tall?
6'6", I think.
Okay, we're giving
he laughs
6'6".
because I officially measure everybody with, and I feel like I'm good at it.
Okay, 6'6", like
Did
a
you
wing.
size Cam up, by the way, when we came in here?
I'm gonna have to do that. I didn't, but I'll have to do that.
But it's cool how he operates. So just it's unconventional.
Yeah.
It's tougher to guard. It's Jokic is the top of basketball today, and it's like you said. I'm not going to over-predict. I'm going to let the work handle itself. And obviously there's going to be bumps and stuff along the way that we're just trying to iron out. Right now I'm I'm seeing a lot, and it's just learning the terminology, offense, defense, whatever. But it's exciting as a competitor and as someone who loves the game to have these opportunities.
One word that keeps coming up from Jokic going back to last postseason, David Adelman, detail, attention to detail. My understanding of you as a player, attention to detail is a big part of it. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. There's certain things that separate people or allow your career to continue in the NBA, and attention to detail is definitely one of those things.
That's a fit.
I'm curious, what is it like you have a situation that in your own mind seems temporary in Brooklyn? You're working with guys, you're being professional, you are where your feet are, as you say, but is that bizarre where you're kind of trying to build relationships with people that you feel like might not be there in the next year?
Not at all. We, in fact, laugh about it.
Really?
I was in New York. I spend my off seasons in Arizona. I was in New York for the week of draft week, and not anything, but just I had things to do up there, and so I went up there and worked out for the week. But obviously I got traded right after that, and that draft time is high tide when it comes to trades. So I come in the day after the draft, and one of the guys, Connor Griffin, coached here in Denver.
Yeah, we know
Denver.
Connor. Yeah.
Great guy. And I came in, and I was like, you tried to trade me yesterday, didn't you? And the coach's office tried to trade. So it's like you make light of it. You understand that a place in the league is a place in the league.
Yeah.
And the relationships, it's a fun part of it. And if I was in Brooklyn for 10 more years, I wouldn't think any differently. I wouldn't conduct myself any differently. Right. But you just have to understand that it's part of the business. It's an honor to be in the league.
Yeah.
And for me, if a team goes out and trades for me, you have to think of that as like an honor. Oh, they went out of their way to go acquire you, so I'm going to do my best for this organization that I'm in now.
I asked you this one at Media Day, and I want to pick on it a little bit more because for me, and I always get in trouble when I try to project myself into an NBA player's body. It's obviously very different. But for me, it was hard to scale up aggression. Like if I'm a role player, and then all of a sudden I'm the best player, it's hard for me to say, okay, mentally that's different because I'm thinking different. But you did it last year in Brooklyn where you scaled up your aggressive. You talked about read the game. I think the way you phrased it was read the game on ball, a little bit differently. For me, that's hard to do. Scale up, scale down, scale up, scale down. But you said it wasn't. I'm just kind of curious, like, why do you feel like that's not a challenge to be able to say, I got to be aggressive here? Now I'm just playing off ball and reading different.
That's a great question. The main thing is that in workouts and in pickup and all those environments that you don't see on the television and that you don't see at practice, I work on those things. This goes back to when I was in Phoenix. Mikal Bridges and I are always working out together, and we're working on our games totally. You saw Mikal take a huge leap when he got to Brooklyn, and then the media's asking me, oh, this, that, and the other. I'm like, no, he'd been preparing for these opportunities for years now. He scaled it, In my case, it's not foreign to me. It's the way I played for a lot of my life, and it's a way a lot of NBA players have played for a lot of their life, but I hadn't as much. On good college teams, on good NBA teams, I haven't had to do it. So then you scale to a role where you can contribute to the team. So to scale it up, it was different in terms of, okay, when you're facing these NBA teams that start to understand you better, it was easier at first because they're not seeing me as the number one option on the team. And then you have some good games and you start to do the same things over and over to score, to find looks, to create looks for your teammates. And you start to notice, okay, they're putting a little bit more details in the scouting report on how to not let me get a handoff going right.
Right.
And they're trying to blow up these actions and they're trapping. I have friends in league that were coaches that were like, that I played against. One of my college teammates is a coach. I'm not going to say what team, but they started trapping me off of handoffs and ball screens. And after the game, he was like, I had something cooked up for you, boy. I was going to say, man, that's
and almost
like,
awkward.
I haven't seen these types of looks since really senior year of high school. I haven't been double-teamed every time I came off of an action. So it was cool to go back and watch that game and be like, okay.
You called it fun, too, at Media Days.
It was fun.
Just
it was fun.
The
and
process.
It's a silver lining of a tough year overall. But with a good coaching staff and what Jordy and those guys have been able to do from a daily mindset perspective, and teammates that, we constantly reminded them, like, opportunities, like the older guys, opportunities in the league are finite. And you might be in a situation now, but if we're a bad team, they're going to bring in 5 rookies, and they're going to try to get better. So, we're as a team, we're not trying to lose. We are trying to win and better our careers. So everybody had a worker's mentality in Brooklyn last year. Everybody had a mentality that we're going to put in the work, we're going to try to get better, and we're going to compete in games no matter what personnel is out there.
Another thing I think about with you that I think is interesting here, and Murray, Jamal alluded to it today, he could play in any of the spots. And I think this is the thing about Denver with read and react basketball. You can have Jokic bring the ball up the court. You can have him at the elbow entry. Or you could put him off, and he's coming off of the double pin down. I think for you allow for that, even more than the team has had previously, where you can be the screener. You can be the guy coming off the screen. You can be the initiator. Do you feel that? Is that kind of what you're seeing with this team, that you have 5 guys and you can run the same play with everybody in a different spot?
110%. I don't even need to elaborate on that. That's exactly it. That's a great part of it, is that I can be here or I can be there. AG can be here or he can be there. And we're working through that in these days. And it's not going to be perfect off rip. It's not going to come first preseason game, boom, like it's firing on all cylinders. We are going to need to work at it and understand what happens and when. But from a Bones perspective, it's really encouraging just to look across the court and see who I'm out there with. You know what I mean?
And I think that's unique because everybody talks about positional versatility. Everybody can play all positions. But some guys, if they're playing in a spot, it's like stand in the corner, don't do anything. To me, it's the Nuggets this year. What makes it, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think it's unique that everybody can actually not just be in a position, but actually do anything from those positions.
Yeah, and the helpful thing about that is when you come to high-level NBA basketball, which I've been fortunate enough to see a very wide variety of experiences, a lot of it, teams are really good in this league, and defenders are really good, and schemes are really good. So as an offense, to be able to be interchangeable like that means you can kind of manufacture who you want on defense and where you want them. Right? So if there's a defender maybe that a team's trying to – there could be a really good defensive team, but there's certain players that don't like to guard in this scenario, or a star player that – we'll try to conserve energy on defense. Like, the encouraging thing about that is you can then use that positional versatility to your advantage.
That Suns team you were on seemed like you guys could do that. In fact, when you played Denver, it felt like that, from our perspective, on the wrong end of that a lot.
We were talking about it as our least favorite series, I think we had.
Let's revisit that, shall we? In great detail.
So is that part of what made you guys so dangerous, such a well-oiled machine? If you could describe what made that team good.
High basketball IQs and a high knowledge of what we wanted to accomplish on possessions, offensively and defensively, along with a lot of talented guys.
Yeah.
Chris Paul is one of the best minds to ever play the game. Devin Booker is one of the best scorers in the game right now, but he's not he has a lot to his game. He can pass, he can read the game, facilitate, defend. So when that was starting to roll, it became to a point where, like, what is our how are we going to be successful today? And it became a lot of fun. Those teams that we had a really good year. We went to the finals my second year, 1 seed my third year, and we had some injuries my fourth. But when I got back from an injury in mid-January, even with those successful teams of the past, that was the most confident I've ever been in that group.
Yeah.
And it's just the years of work. Like, you can't skip that step. So that's what I'm saying. When we get here, there has to be serious leg work and building it as quick as you can. But the years of work that went into every concept that we had offensively and defensively, and guys that were capable of graduating every concept, that was a success recipe there. And a great coach. Monty Williams was a heck of a coach.
That's amazing. Do you see any similarities between that Phoenix Suns team and this Denver Nuggets team?
Different teams. Very different teams. But in a good way, like, the ball was primarily in a 6-foot guy's hands in Phoenix, and now the ball a lot of the times is going to be in a 7-footer's hands that can do a lot, So it's really cool. It's not anything that's there's not bad differences, but very different situations.
Yeah.
And we'll get into training camp now, and just we're getting you on day 2 of training camp, so everything's really, really new. Asking you to analyze the team already, but just what kind of things are standing out about this one as you kind of you've been obviously around all summer, but what's standing out through camp so far?
Bullet points: maturity, competitiveness, and personal accountability. It seems like, which are great qualities to have on a team. I feel like everybody is committed to winning. There's a lot of things that can go on in the NBA, a lot of different mindsets that 18 guys on a roster can have.
Yeah.
But I feel like this roster is very focused on competing and winning at the highest level. And a lot of that is due to it being a team that has won. So you could hear guys that are rotational guys or young guys, and, like, they're not necessarily they're worried about the right things. They're worried about being ready when their number's called. They're worried about understanding concepts and how to play with whatever group they're in at the time. And it's a cool thing to have in a group. And I think that's the main thing about it when you have as many vets as we do.
So do you feel like you can know or at least sense what a team's ultimate direction might be this early in coming together? I mean, have you felt like teams were better that they were going to be early on?
Nope.
It's just
nope. You can't tell right now.
Can't tell.
There's no championships won on October 1st. You can start the path to it,
right?
And it's less than 1%. But there's going to be adversity that hits during the season. There's going to be times things go up. There's going to be times things goes down. They're knock on wood, and we pray that they never happen. But injuries are a part of our game. So that resilience factor of how we can manage those parts of a season should be helped by the fact that we have true pros. But that's when you really start to figure it out. But these steps are absolutely critical to that.
Right.
What do you like most about the game? Like, what parts of it? Is there a specific thing if you're like, hey, man, if I drew it up, this is the role I would play?
Nah, it's not. It's a great question, but my answer is a little different. I feel in my career I've been constantly chasing something, which is, and when I think about it, just the best basketball player I can be. And I've been chasing that something for, I'm 29, so 26 years. How can I be the best basketball player I can be, And so you put in the work every day and went through elementary school, middle school, high school, you get to college. It was always real, but then, you know, you get the crowds and everything, and then the NBA where you have you're in a spot where you always dreamed of being in. But, like, it's nothing's really truly guaranteed. If you just stopped working, you'd find your way out of a job really quickly.
Right.
So that desire to continue to be a better version of myself drives everything of basketball for me.
What does that look like, do you think, this year, like right now? Like, what is the thing where you're like, this is what I'm trying to become here? Is it better handles? Is it better this? Or is it just kind of everything?
I don't think of it in terms of
You don't break it down.
I have things over the off season
Yeah.
that I'll work on so that I can be better at those things. But when it comes to the line of thought that I just mentioned, it is more of a feeling than anything, than a specific skill. It's the game slowing down. It's reading things better. It's being able to attack this, attack that, where the game seems easier. Like, that's the ultimate goal. The best players, the game feels easy to them, and then they have a lot of creative freedom within those margins.
The other thing I think about with this, I mean, this is fascinating stuff, but the thing I think about with this Nuggets team is, over the course of 11 years now with Nikola Jokic here, there's these little pockets they fall into where it feels like all 5 guys have the same brain. And that's impossible to keep forever. But when this team gets into that group, to me, I'm like, that's the pinnacle of basketball. Just no, it's like you're fighting with 5 fists.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. That to me is like, another thing that I kind of see. I mean, and that's one of the reasons I get excited about you being here is I say, you know what, that's a guy that I think falls into that rhythm or knows how is capable of falling into that rhythm more than most.
And I think that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I think that's why front office made the effort, and they wanted to add me to this group that has already done so much. And I think that's the line of thought there.
Man, that'd be great. You got anything else here, D-Line? He's been gracious with his time here.
I mean, not really. I'm just curious. I've heard that you've been in Denver. I heard that you went to the zoo and you got stuck.
We gotta get you some Denver stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any impressions of the city? What have guys said to you? What have they told you about what it is to be in Denver, Colorado?
I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I do know it's supposed to be very sunny, but for the past couple of weeks, it's been very rainy.
Yeah. Well,
Cloudy.
it's sunny some part of every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's our thing. Is like it's 300 days of sun, but it doesn't mean
But it
300
rains.
days of sun the whole
All
day.
day.
Yeah.
You
I
say-
hear that.
as soon as you see sun, you're like, count it. Done.
Fair point. Fair point.
Have you been to the mountains yet? Have you had a chance?
No.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the calling
Like, just what do you do? Just head in the
Yeah.
direction of the mountains?
Yeah, you just
drive?
go.
Man, I'm gonna get him an itinerary.
Yeah, this is
I'm
the
gonna be
guy
like,
that-
hey man, I got you 5
Give me a-
drives, a little
I
hike.
figured probably more so beginning of next off season.
Yeah,
when you have the chance to unwind and explore that. Like so much of it now is just getting settled, finding a place, getting everything moved from the previous spot, and
He's
it's
busy
like-
trying to win a title. My bad.
Yeah.
Do you have
trying
any
to
thoughts on
get
birds?
get in the gym, get to know the guys, get to know the coaching staff. It consumes so much.
Yeah.
But coming from New York, the busyness of it.
Yeah.
I'm from the suburbs of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so that the city life is different for me. Denver seems like a lot more of a laid-back place.
It is.
Chill.
Correct.
I think that's the number one word is probably chill. Jordy, tell you anything about Jokic or anything before you came over?
My last conversation with I had on him about the trade is like, you will absolutely love playing with that group.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
That's awesome.
They're great guys, great teammates, and great players. And, he said, I love playing with this group.
That's great, man.
Well, I guess one last question. You have some podcasting chops yourself. I'm curious, how are we doing?
So here's the funny part about it. I hopped on the podcast when JJ was on it with Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy's a really good friend of mine, one of my best friends in New York. I spend a lot of time with him. And JJ built a studio in Gowanus in Brooklyn, New York. And it was right around the corner from where I lived. And he had a golf simulator in there. So they were gracious enough to let me have access to the golf simulator.
so many pods.
And, and just being around and spending time with Tom, he's like, hey, let's hop on a pod. Cool. I'm already at the studio on the golf
I'm
simulator.
already
Let's
playing
pull up.
golf.
Are you good at golf?
No.
Okay.
I'm getting better.
Are you getting better?
I'm playable, but my ball will sometimes end up so far over there. It's like,
My theory is good 3-point shooters are good at golf, and I can't figure out why. So you'll get good right now. You're too locked in right now on
You know
basketball.
what it's about?
What?
Details.
Probably just body control in general. There's something there.
it's a challenging game. It's a fun game, but
Yeah.
my goal is to be much more proficient by the end of my career, not like, oh, I got to be scratch right now.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I don't need that extra pressure. I already got one professional sport that I need.
Well, listen, if you like golfing, you'll enjoy golfing in Colorado.
I have so far.
Your ball goes like
really far.
Man, Hunter and I went out the other day. Hunter Tyson and I went out the other day. Wind at our backs with the slope on the fairway.
Just ripping that thing.
The drive went 400. I'm like, I love it.
That's incredible, man. Yeah. We're so excited to have you here, man. I say that on behalf of us here at DNVR, but really the entire fan base. I mean, it's we've gotten to follow this core for 10 years now, and it's just fun, all the different iterations. But as I said, I think we're excited for this iteration of it because it seems to like match the energy and the personality that when we've seen it at its best. So thank you so much for hopping on, giving us your time, and we're excited to watch this unfold.
Thank you.